Good afternoon and welcome to highschoolcube.com. I'm Jimmy Dragna alongside Jason Lashiza and our man out in the weather today, Andre Wright, the man bringing you all of the video for today's ball game. And we've got a good one on hand. It is a semifinal as we are into the fourth week of the playoffs in the IHSA, and that puts us here in Joliet, Illinois, on the southwest end of the city of Joliet at ATI Field at Joliet Memorial Stadium. A shrine and a memorial, if you will, to the men and women of the armed forces who have served in World War II and Korea. But more specifically this afternoon, a showcase for two high school teams that have come a long ways through 12 weeks of football action, and this being their fourth foray into the playoffs. And the winner today at the 5A title level will head to Champaign, Illinois, and the University of Illinois for a date with destiny in the 5A pairings for the IHSA. The matchup is between the home team, Joliet Catholic Academy, the Hilltoppers of Coach Dan Sharp, 10-2 on the season, and their rivals from downstate in Springfield, Sacred Heart-Griffin, the Cyclones of Coach Ken Leonard. And the Cyclones, an unblemished 12-0 mark on the season, led by senior quarterback Pat Smith. And Smith, probably in the 27 years that Coach Leonard has been at the helm of Sacred Heart-Griffin, at least as talented a quarterback as he's ever had the luxury to coach. Behind Smith will be Chris Harris, the leading rusher for Sacred Heart, 1,259 yards and 15 touchdowns for Harris. And he'll also be flanked by Fabian Whitaker, who also is a talented running back. Whitaker with 649 yards, a 6+ per yard average, and 15 touchdowns for number 22. So a potent ground game for the visitors up here from Springfield and I-55. They were out early this morning, leaving their home school on West Washington Street down in Springfield. And it has been a long trip for them, and nevertheless they have a football game to play here up in Will County in Joliet against Joliet Catholic Academy and Coach Dan Sharp's Hilltoppers. And when you talk about Hilltopper football, it's a little bit of smash mouth, run it down your throat, and we will see a tandem of running backs wearing the chocolate and white of the home unis today. Number 32, the junior, who has been drawing Division I letters from everywhere across America, Ty Isaac. Isaac, a lot of fun to watch, 6'2", 215 pounds, rushed for over 2,000 yards this season, had 3 touchdowns last week in the dismantling, if you will, of Washington. The Hilltoppers, a 56-7 win there on the road, and a 49-0 halftime score where they just took the toss, called there by Malin Jones, the other running back, who will be in the backfield behind quarterback Craig Slowik. Slowik also a senior along with Malin Jones. Jones rushing for over 800 yards this season himself. So a tandem backfield. Isaac number 32 and Jones number 33. You can also see Malin Jones on the defensive side. He will be a very, very well-represented linebacker on the outside part of the field. And after his senior year this year, he will be heading to Northwestern in Evanston. So some real talent on the field. Another one of those X factors for the Hilltoppers is Isaac Grashoff, the tight end who wears number 12. Grashoff does just about everything but help tape his players and do the laundry at halftime and after ball games. Grashoff, the place kicker and field goal kicker on this ball club, lines up as a tight end, and you'll see him do a lot of things on the football field that are intangibles to help his ball club offensively in more ways than one. Also the big center, Pat Kripp, a senior. He'll be leading the way up front for the offense of the Hilltoppers. You can also watch Nick Morrison, a sophomore. Morrison played a lot in the second half last week at Washington in that one-sided victory. Morrison likes to come in that wildcat spot, and sometimes they'll run the ball where Slowik is really more of a pure pocket passer. We'll also see Tyler Reitz. Reitz will be wearing number 21. He is the fullback leading the way mostly as a blocking back. for Isaac and Jones. And also keep an eye on the wide receivers for Joliet Catholic. And they won't throw the ball too often, but when they do, it might be Zach Resin or Grashoff who will be on the end of the receiving, but mostly the blocking, as they like to run the ball an awful lot here for Hilltopper offense. I'm Jimmy Dragna. It's the last week for us in High School Cube to be representing high school football here, due to the fact, basically, that everyone heads to Champaign next weekend after everyone has Thanksgiving dinner on Thursday. The 1A to the 4A's go on Friday, and then the big schools, 5A through 8A, will be played on Saturday. And speaking of that, at the 8A level today, a game that's already underway, Glenbard North is up north in Wilmette playing Loyola. Loyola trying to avenge the semifinal loss last year to Maine South and Matt Alviti, who have long since exited the playoffs a couple weeks ago. And at 1 o'clock, already underway as well, Bolingbrook 11-1 are on the road in DuPage County at Naperville Central. They're taking their 9-3 mark in there with a hope of also getting down to Champaign next Saturday. 7A, a couple interesting ball games. Lake Zurich is on Rockford against Rockford Boylan. Rockford Boylan 12-0 on the season. That's a 1 o'clock kickoff already underway. And a ball game tonight that everybody on the south side of Chicago, and I like to say the greatest sporting city in America, the southwest side, one of the greatest hotbeds for football in the Catholic League, St. Rita and Todd Kushka hosting Wheaton Warrenville South, a two-time 5A state champion. That ball game kicking off at 6 o'clock. Rita at 10-2, Wheaton Warrenville South at 9-3, and we'll have to see if the Mustang defense can be up to the task tonight for that ball game. Rita would find themselves in a 7A championship tilt next weekend against the winner of Rockford Boylan and Lake Zurich. And of course, we can't forget the 6A, and they're my neighbors just a little bit down the road. 6A championship semifinal action today. Lamont at Peoria Richwoods. Coach Eric Michelson, taking his Indians all the way down to Peoria. Their 12-0 unblemished mark. That'll tip off here at 2 p.m. the same time as we kick off here at ATI Field at Joliet Memorial. And Prairie Ridge, already underway at 1 p.m., are in Batavia on the Fox River against the undefeated Batavia Football Club. As the roar you hear from the visitor stand, bringing out the American flag, if you will. Kind of like the way they came out. Number 17 leading the way for the Cyclones, and that's Alan Sapansky, a reserve outside linebacker, and they are quite a sight right now in the center of the gridiron. And it looks like they want to bring in a little bit of MIA flag action and American flag action to kind of bolster their spirits today. And they have got a good contingent here out representing them on the east side of the gridiron, that being the visitor side. And we are about ready to have the public address announcer introduce this ball game. Again, you are listening to highschoolcube.com. This is a semifinal at the 5A level between the visitors from Sacred Heart-Griffin, the Cyclones, and Joliet Catholic Academy at home here at Joliet Memorial, the Hilltoppers of Coach Dan Sharp. The Hilltoppers come out from the north side of the gridiron out to the 50-yard line on home side of the football field as the balloons, white and chocolate, are released here by the large contingent of JCA faithful as we are about ready to go to kickoff here at 2 p.m. this afternoon on the final weekend before Thanksgiving for football in the state of Illinois. I'm Jimmy Dragna again alongside Jason
LaShaza.
Thank you, Jason. You're the man. I've got it written here, and I got to write it on my forehead backwards. And, of course, our fine cameraman, Andre, right here to my right. And, of course, we have a visitor this afternoon with us, Ed Zorn, who is a graduate of 1951, you said, Ed, from Joliet Catholic. And it must have been something else to go to school back in those days at JCA, huh?
Yes, it was. Back in those days, it was all boys, no girls. And they had in the class... the whole class enrollment, probably about 750 students. But, yeah, it was something different back in those days. It was all boys and no girls. And but we made it through there pretty good.
And I guess you never quite forget the Catholic education that you bring with you for every day that you wake up in the morning, of course, right?
That's true. You try to be the best person you can be, and you try to maintain what you learned there, and do the right things, and have your parents and your friends be proud of you, and it sticks with you for a long time.
It'll be Isaac Grashoff to kick off with the wind at his back. There's a stiff 30-mile-an-hour breeze blowing from right to left, and Grashoff takes advantage of that and puts it into the near side corner of the end zone. There'll be no return for Sacred Heart-Griffin. They'll be 1st and 10 at their own old 20-yard line. About 52 degrees at kickoff time here. The lights are on. It's very overcast and dark, and the hints of winter are everywhere around us as the trees have lost just about all their leaves, and we know when Thanksgiving is down the road, it's wintertime in the Midwest. So it will be Pat Smith in the shotgun. This is a hurry-up offense. Talking with Coach Ken Leonard before the ball game. It's the quick snap, no huddle, hurry up, and they will try to drive a defense crazy once they get in a rhythm. And a high snap, Smith swings it out, and it was complete to the wide receiver out on the far side of the field. Coverage on the play was Matt Madrigal from his linebacker spot. And again, no huddle here. You have to really be prepared. Swung that out to the tight end for Sacred Heart. The handoff will go off the right side. I believe that was the leading rusher, Chris Harris. Check that. Smith on the keeper. And Smith gets the ball out close to the 28-yard line, a pickup of almost 6 yards on the keep. And we'll have a 3rd down and a long 2 from the I formation. Receivers load up to the near side on a quick pop over the middle. Overthrowing his intended receiver is Smith. He was looking to Mitch Treese, the tight end, center of the field, but the ball thrown a little bit behind number 10. And so that will set up a 4th down now, and we will see a punt attempt here. Smith quickly, nonchalantly backs up a couple of steps from the shotgun, standing back now at his own 15-yard line. In punt formation. And no one back for Joliet Catholic. They're not going to take a return. They thought maybe perhaps they might fake this one. And a kick that goes out of bounds around the midfield stripe. We'll have to see where they spot it. The 46 of JCA. So excellent field position for a potent offense for Joliet Catholic, who's averaged over 50 points a ball game. They are an offensive machine, outscoring their opponents 157 to 196 in this football season in 2011. They'll be 1st and 10 with Craig Slowik at the controls under center, and all of a sudden offside, jumping a little prematurely there for Sacred Heart-Griffin. I believe that was number 55, Ben Ketchum. No, he was drawn offside, they say. So movement on the O-line for the home team. And JCA will take 5 yards backwards and be 1st and 15 now. at their own 41-yard line. First penalty of the ball game goes the way of the Hilltoppers. The handoff center of the field, I believe they gave it to Malin Jones, and Jones gets wrapped up in a hurry. No, check it. It was Ty Isaac. So Isaac, no gain on the play. First man to the ball carrier was Connor Peters from his defensive tackle spot as Slowik back into the huddle for the Hilltoppers. Now with a 2nd and 15. Ball resting on the far side hash mark. Tandem backfield, double tight end set. The handoff will go to Malin Jones, and Jones squirts his way up close to the 44-yard line. They spotted it to 43, so a pickup of a couple. You'll see Jones, number 32, and Isaac, number 33, carrying the mail all day for this ground attack for the Hilltoppers. Isaac. Okay. So a 3rd down and 13. Hilltoppers need to get all the way to the 44-yard line of Sacred Heart, and they put it up in the air, incomplete. Pass intended for Tyler Isaac at the 48-yard line, but incomplete and out of his hands. So a 4th down, and we will see Isaac Grashoff, who does, like I said, all the kicking duties. He'll kick field goals, he'll punt, and he will kick off into the huddle set for the punt by the home team, Joliet Catholic. Again, you're listening to highschoolcube.com. This afternoon's broadcast brought to you by the Honda Superstore of Joliet, serving the community for over 19 years. Their philosophy is the backbone of their business is customer service that you won't forget. You can reach them at 3225 North Plainfield Road, as that kick by Grashoff is fielded by the lone setback, Mitch Trees, and Trees gets wrapped up by a tandem of tacklers and rudely thrown back on the far side hash mark to inside his own 10-yard line. Excellent coverage for the Joliet Catholic special teams performers. And for the defense, at least, it would be great field position if you're a Hilltopper fan. Sacred Heart 1st and 10 at their own 9. From the shotgun, Smith will give it, no, instead he fakes to Harris and keeps it center of the field and maybe back to the line of scrimmage and maybe a yard at best. So defense is the early theme here in this first minutes of football in our initial quarter of play in this 5A semifinal battle, which should be all of a heavyweight match before this one is over. From the I formation, it's Harris. Just to the left of his quarterback. Smith takes the snap, comes over the middle, incomplete. I believe they were trying that to get it to the reserve running back, number 26. That's Carter Pranger. And Pranger did not get the handle on it, so the incompletion will stop the clock. We're at 9:01 of the first quarter. And a 3rd down and 9. And nothing better for the Hilltoppers right now, licking their chops on defense to make a hold here and get quarterback Slowik and Jones and Isaac. Great field position, running under pressure and putting up a prayer of a pass short. He tried to come back to the pass, underthrown as it was. It was intended for Mitch Reavy, the wide receiver, and Reavy could not come back in time to make the reception, so a 4th down will necessitate a punt.
No, just we got an update here. Naperville Central and Bolingbrook are tied at 7 at the half right now.
That should be another heavyweight matchup there, Jason. Two ball clubs that have really had a heck of a season. Bolingbrook ending Mount Carmel's season earlier in the playoffs. This kick off the left leg of Smith. It's going to roll and go out of bounds at the 38-yard line of Sacred Heart-Griffin. And the best field position of the day for either school right now belongs to the Hilltoppers. 1st and 10 in pretty decent field territory and in Sacred Heart-Griffin real estate. So again, that double tight end set, Slowik, hands off to Isaac, and Isaac with a block bounces his way. He loses the football. Are they going to call it down by contact? The field can't fall to force the fumble, so that ball came out after contact with the field by Isaac, and they'll give him the ball with a gain of about 5 yards at the 32-yard line now of the Cyclones. Officials for today's ball game from the IHA, the referee is Jim Glickert, the umpire Ken Kessler, the linesman John Ferlitto, and the back judge John Jacobs, and the line judge George Casper. As this one goes off the right side, there's some running room and a second burst of speed, and that had to be nobody but Tyler Isaac, as he can really accelerate on that second step. You don't need to know the number on his back by the speed that comes out of a pop like that. And Isaac's got the initial first down of the ball game as he crosses the 25-yard line and forward progress to the 23 of the Cyclones. Again, Slowik under center. We'll give it back this time to Malin Jones around the near side, and he'll break a tackle at the 25 and fight his way out of bounds, but not before he crosses the 15 and gets down very close to the 12-yard line of the Cyclones. And I believe that's another first down for JCA. Well, a pickup of 9. I stand corrected. It'll be 2nd and 1. The carry by Jones, 9+ yards. Ball now on the near side hash. Again, you'll see a lot of Tyler Reach leading the way, number 21. He's this single setback behind Slowik right now. Again, under center. And they're going to give it off to Jones, and Jones pushes his way off that right side of the hash mark, near side, and I think he may have enough for the first down. And at 7:25, they're going to stop the clock and I think necessitate a measurement right here. No need. First down, Hilltoppers.
That was a very quick inside handoff there. I think they had everyone fooled with that motion. They run so much motion and cross motion in the backfield. Really caught Sacred Heart-Griffin off guard, it seemed to me.
Isaac and Jones, and they give it to Isaac, and Isaac breaks the tackle, leans out with that big 6'3" frame down inside the 10-yard line and very close to the 7 for number 32. So the ball is at the 8-yard line, I stand corrected, of the Cyclones. Slowik back into the lineup, or into the huddle, I should say, for JCA. You don't see too many different offensive sets here for them, formation-wise. They hand off on a reverse this time. They give it off to the reserve running back, and he's going to find the end zone. Joliet Catholic into the end zone, the first score of the ball game. Tyler Isaac brings it around that far side corner from the 8-yard line for the score. A little bit of a handoff on a reverse from one back to the other. And Isaac draws a bead on that far side end zone corner, and lickety-split, he's in for the score, the first of the ball game. It'll be Grashoff to split the uprights for the point after out of the hold of Nick Morrison, and with 6:24 of the opening quarter of play, it is Joliet Catholic in control here with the early score 7-0 from Joliet Memorial Stadium on West Jefferson Street on the southwest end of Joliet, Illinois. Again, we reminding you the proud sponsor of today's ball game, Honda Superstore of Joliet, serving the community for over 19 years. They'd like you to come on down and visit the #1 Honda dealership in Will County, located at 3225 North Plainfield Road across from Lewis Joliet Mall. If you go to HondaofJoliet.com or click on their ad on our broadcast page, you'll get 0.9% financing on any select new Honda. Also, Cimino's Pizza has been a family-owned Joliet tradition since 1976. Cimino Pizza offers a great atmosphere for any occasion, perfect for a night out with your friends, a celebration with family, or watching your favorite sport on TV. And boy, we wish they were hooked up over there to High School Cube. You can sit back and order Cimino's Full Boat Pizza, 1630 Ensington Road in Joliet, or find them on the web at Cimeno, CEMENO, pizza.com. Grashoff with a long, strong kick again, all the way out of the gridiron over the end line of the end zone and across the track until what looks like the pump building behind the school, where that thing had to travel about 75 yards with the bouncing and the wind. And if that building wasn't there, it might have ended up on Jefferson Street.
Yeah, it would look like they would have been into traffic there. This kid's got an impressive leg.
Well, we saw him last week, and I don't think, but they had in the first half 7 touchdowns for the Hilltoppers, and every subsequent kickoff by Grashoff was over the end line at that beautiful facility for Washington football down in Washington, Illinois. The handoff will go to Harris, and Harris gets hit at the line of scrimmage and maybe picks up a yard at best. So an overcast afternoon here. And, of course, a lot of these student-athletes thinking about where they could end up next week with a victory. And, of course, that would be either back home watching football on TV or down in Champaign. And this play will be whistled dead with procedure, apparently on the offense of Sacred Heart-Griffin.
Just to go back to that scoring play, they ran that misdirection, and Malin Jones or Ty Isaac got into the end zone. He picked up a nice block from Slowik. He was able, he didn't really wipe anybody out, but he was able to get in and really take care of 2 defenders because him being in between him and the goal line, it really made him untouched.
Yeah, and when they had that reverse action going a little bit to the near side, gave Slowik a chance to get on in front of the ball carrier that eventually got the handoff. This one deflected. Great work for JCA. And their big defensive end reaching in over there, number 99. That should have been.
88, Josh Falk.
Josh Falk. Thank you. I'm wondering, there's not a 99 I'm looking for here. Falk, one of those all-conference players defensively on the Hilltoppers in 2011. So Coach Dan Sharp's defense has been all of his last name, Sharp, in the early going here today so far. And they, again, no field position for the Cyclones. Back to throw, 3rd and 15. Smith under pressure, running for his life, slips an anchor collar. He's got some running room to the near side, 20, 25, and then he'll get upended short of the first down marker. Nice work by Smith, but better defense by the Hilltoppers. And coming in from his corner spot, I believe that was Dominic Allen to put the upending of the quarterback at around the 26-yard line. So a good run for the QB Smith, but not enough for the first down, and it will necessitate another punt by Sacred Heart-Griffin.
Yeah, Dominic Allen showed tremendous closing speed there onto it because he was all the way, I'd say, back around the 45, 50-yard line and really closed wonderfully on that one.
Dominic Allen, another defensive standout and all East Suburban Catholic Conference player here. Smith decides to throw it. They're going to not punt the football, and that was incomplete. The intended receiver was Mike Reavy. Oh, and now they say he did catch it. First down. I guess that was because he was out of bounds on the sideline. The indication was kind of confusing.
Well, pickup of the first down and the move of the change, they stopped the clock anyways. So that once he picked up the first down, got it out to the 32, they just stopped the clock automatically, let him get the chain gang set back up.
So the initial first down goes Smith to Reavy for a near side completion, the first of the ball game through the air for the Cyclones. And then now at their own 32-yard line from the shotgun, Smith with a long count here, and he'll hand it off on the left side to Harris. Harris trying to roll. No, instead it's a good fake, and Smith keeps it. Goes center of the gridiron up for almost a keep of 5 yards. That was a pretty deceptive one, Jason, wasn't it?
Yeah, he really held that ball long. Made the defenses commit to number 22 there, Tavian Whitaker Lions. And once they did, he just kept it in his own hands and picked up, like you said, almost 5 yards on that one.
So a second and a short 6 for a Cyclone first. The ball just across the 37-yard line. Again, from the shotgun, receivers load up to the near side. That's Smith back there again with Fabian Whitaker to his right. And Whitaker's going to get the give. He'll come towards. No, again, they fake it, and going straight ahead is Smith. And he draws a crowd of people and barely gets back to the original line of scrimmage. and will, I believe, have a timeout on the field taken by the defense of Joliet Catholic Academy. Again, we've got Ed Zorn here, the JCA graduate. Ed, tell me some more stuff that you can as looking back in the days when, Joliet was more of a farm town than anything when you went to school here.
Well, basically, back then, football was still one of the main attractions, with basketball coming in second. And we had some tremendous teams in the 50s. As a matter of fact, I believe it was 1953, we had an undefeated team. And football was the top of the for sports. Then it came naturally was basketball. But the crowds for the football games back then was still like the crowds today. We always had a big crowd, and sometimes you wonder, where are the visitors at? We don't see nobody across the track here. But our side of the stand was always full. We had a very, very loyal following. Everybody did their part to make everything work wonderful. Way back when, the coach there was Gordy Gillespie.
And that's a legendary name, my goodness.
Yes, he was a fantastic coach, and everybody liked him. And he was a very, very good educator. And he would strive for perfection, and you had to do it until he got it right. But many of his players went to college after the...
It'll be a 4th down and long. That last pass play by Smith was deflected center of the line, and he looks like he is in punt formation right now at his own 25, and he indeed does it a little bit of a line drive into the wind that blows right back in the face of Sacred Heart-Griffin as it crosses the 50. That breeze out there is almost gale force right now, over 30 miles an hour, so not much of a punt for the team going from right, or I should say left to right. That's north to south. And as a result, again, not bad field position. Smith, you can't fault his leg, but that breeze is just almost impossible to kick into. And so 1st and 10 for JCA at their own 47-yard line. I know we were talking, Jason, earlier, one of the AD assistants here, and he said the best play last week was Malin Jones winning the coin toss and taking the win at Washington. And 2 quarters later, it was a 49-0 ball game, and Washington never quite rebounded from that. Slowik under pressure going downfield with the home run pitch with the wind behind him. He's got Grashoff. Grashoff has got it at the 5, and he's into the end zone. Touchdown, Joliet Catholic. The Hilltoppers are doing a jig on West Jefferson Street.
And Slowik really made that play able to happen because he got some pressure and was able to step up into that pocket and made just an absolute strike to Grashoff for what was a 53-yard touchdown pass, and a beautiful way to start this out. And once again, I don't know that you can do that going into the wind here today.
Oh, you're right, Jason. Again, with that at your back and the way he stepped up into that pocket, facilitated that pass perfection. Grashoff splits the uprights once more out of the hole by Morrison, and it's all Joliet Catholic here from Joliet Memorial Stadium by a score now of 14-0 with 3:16 left in this first quarter of football. A berth at the 5A championship at stake in Champaign next Saturday. Sacred Heart-Griffin, talking a little bit about the opponents here today. They, at one time, were started with that name as a Sacred Heart School for Girls, established by an order of nuns down in Springfield and combined with Griffin High School, which was an all-boys Catholic school, back in 1988. And it was 84, actually, that Coach Ken Leonard became the head football coach there, and he shared some of those stories about how interesting it was to have the schools combine. And it really kind of changed the complexion and the size of the school. And, of course, then athletics really became more of a stalwart. And, again, Grashoff all the way across the end line and out to the blue cement area which facilitates track meets here behind the goalposts. So more than 65 or 70 yards on that kickoff for Isaac Grashoff with that wind at his back. And you can expect in this quarter no returns on kicks by Grashoff in the first 12 minutes of football from this stadium. Also, a proud sponsor this afternoon is Marichkas in Crest Hill, as that handoff goes straight ahead. And I believe the keeper, it was Pat Smith again. No, check that. Not Smith at all, but instead he hands off to his running back. And I believe that was Whitaker Lyons. And a gain of maybe a couple at best. No, Chris Harris was the ball carrier on that one. I stand corrected. A 2nd and 2. Under 3 minutes now in this first quarter from the shotgun as receivers load up to the near side is Pat Harris. Check that, Pat Smith. And waiting for a long count now. It seems like the hurry-up offense is kind of taking a flyer as this time it is Harris, and he fights his way out close to the 29-yard line. A pickup of almost 6 yards for number 28. Allen, one of the first JCA defenders to the ball carrier for the stop. So 3rd and a long 2 yards for a Sacred Heart-Griffin first down. Harris will send 2 receivers to the near side, 2 receivers to both sides for that matter. And again with this long pause as he stands in the shotgun. Barks out the signals, gets the snap, and he'll hand it off. And Harris has got the first down and more. Breaking tackles across the 40 and across the 45-yard line, very close to midfield. The ball carrier at a big first down, the best offensive snap of the game so far for the Cyclones.
Yeah, it seems to me like it's really getting these the Hilltoppers, the defensemen there, a little off guard with that long snap count there. They're kind of having to tense up and not being able to relax and just fly off the ball. And those early fakes look like they might be taking a toll also because they're a little passive as of right now, it looks like.
They'd like to get into some kind of a rhythm offensively, and I think despite no huddle, they come up there to the line and they kind of lull you to sleep while you wait for the snap. Again, this time it's not Harris, but it's his backcourt mate, Whitaker. And Tavion Whitaker fights his way across midfield and into Hilltopper territory with about a 5-yard pickup, and they spot it right at the 47 of JCA. And it's number 22, Tavion Whitaker, and number 28, Chris Harris, who will carry the rushing load as a tandem of running backs. And will run the ball more than they throw it, especially going into that gale force wind out there right now, the way in their face, going from north to south, just the right into the face of the offensive thrust right now of SHG. And this one, center of the line, no running room at all for Whitaker. He stopped at the line of scrimmage. So now a 3rd and 5. We're getting down to the final snap of this quarter. Again, the southwest side of Joliet football stadium was put up, I believe, back in the 40s as a memorial to the World War II veterans and Korean. No, it couldn't have been Korean veterans. It would have been in the 50s then, wouldn't it, Ed?
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around 50, 51.
There you go. Thank you for clarifying that for me. That would have been the year you graduated.
Yes, it was.
And I think we're going to see the quarter unwind here, and that's it. We've played through one full stanza of football from Joliet Memorial Stadium, and it is the home team. It is their home field, their home crowd in attendance here in abundance, on top of the score by a score of 14-0 in this 5A semifinal IHSA football matchup here in Joliet. Also want to remind you, another proud sponsor this afternoon for highschoolcube.com and our broadcast is Marichkas in Crest Hill, the family-owned and operated since 1933 restaurant, world-famous poor boys, as well as a wide variety of dining selections at more than reasonable prices. Will County's landmark for good is Marichka's, located at 604 Theodore Street in Crest Hill, just a stone's throw from Joliet. Reservations are accepted, and if you want to make one, 815-723-9371. Marichka's, always world-famous poor boys.
Yeah, those po' boys and pizzas sound awfully good right now. I mean, being the size I am, and I got to keep my girlish figure somehow, as they say, right?
Jason, don't start talking like that, or we'll be heading over there at halftime, and you and I, well, we could demolish some of what they've got over there, the fine fare for the good folks in Cresthill. No doubt about it.
Don't know if we'll have time. I'm not a fast eater. I am a fast eater, but only in time, not quantity.
The 3rd and 5, as Smith goes back to pass, is a quick one over in the flat to Michael Reavy, but incomplete, in and out of the hands of number 18. So now decision time for Coach Ken Leonard and company. But I don't think, well, you never know when you see Smith stand back there. Is he going into the shotgun, or if he's really going to kick it? And again, JCA doesn't show. They say, we don't believe you. They don't have anybody back ready to receive the punt. Smith back at his own 44-yard line. And he kind of plays tic-tac-toe with the 45. You don't know if he's going to cross it and go into the gun, or if he's going to stay back and take the snap for the punt. It looks like a punt if I was going to be gambling, from his own 43. And he will put a quick left foot into it, an end over end with the wind. Will get good field position, but then it takes a bounce for JCA and rolls into the end zone. And a touchback, 1st and 10 from the 20 for the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, you can see that JCA is playing it very nicely, not sending a man back deep, saying, you know what, we have faith in our offense that regardless of where we start this from, we can bring this down the field and score. So go ahead and kick it off, and we'll take it from the 20.
Yeah, and I was talking with Dan Sharp and Ken Leonard. These guys are dinosaurs, man, and I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I mean it's them, the Frank Lendys and Zananis, Rick Zanani from Bishop Mack. These guys have been coaching so long. They have their system down. A break there, almost getting out to the far side, was Tyler Isaac. And one step away from breaking one more tackle, he might have been down the sideline for an easy 6. But Isaac gets upended there with a nice tackle from the corner spot and stops his progress at about the 25-yard line and pick up 5 solid yards for number 33.
Yeah, that was a game-saving tackle by Billy Fleshley, number 23 of Sacred Heart-Griffin, because I think he would have gone a long way if not for him.
Handoff center of the field, and I believe that was Malin Jones, and he nudges his helmet forward to almost the 30-yard line, very close to a first down. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard for a Hilltopper first. 3 times these ball clubs have met. 1975 was a state championship game, and that was a win at the 4A level for JCA. And then coming back, 2000, and there was a Joliet Catholic win in 2000, and in 2003, a 24-21 victory in Champaign in the state championship. And 0 for 3 is Sacred Heart-Griffin, but they do allow the first down there straight ahead. I believe, was that Isaac on the carry?
That was actually Tyler Reitz,
the fullback.
Yeah, they run that motion there, keep him in the backfield quite often. And once again, when you have to worry about Malin Jones and Ty Isaac ripping off large runs, that gave Tyler Reitz the needed space to pick up the first down for him.
Handoff off the left side, and again, it looks like the fullback Reitz gets the call, and there's a flag coming out of there late after Reitz got out across the 42-yard line, and I think this may be going against the defense of the Cyclones. We'll have to wait and see.
Look like it could be an unnecessary roughness, personal foul.
You call that right on, but I was wrong with the victim, or I should say the culprit. The culprit was the offense of JCA.
Yeah, it looked like it came off of some line play at one of the Hilltoppers put the man down to the ground there, and a little late. He was just playing through, as Brian Arrowhacker said in an interview, through the echo of the whistle on that one.
Well put, Jason, well put. And sometimes as an athlete out there in the heat of the battle, it's just kind of tough to hear that whistle and just put on the brakes.
There's no doubt. I mean, you want to be physical, but the coaches will tell you want to be physical within the rules of the game.
It's Reese in the fullback spot, blocking away, and there's a hole center of the field, and lots of room for Malin Jones. He'll break a tackle. 45, midfield, and into Sacred Heart-Griffin territory goes number 32 for a huge gain of on the far side hash mark and a big first down for JCA at the 45-yard line. Checked at the 46-yard line of the Cyclones. They kind of lull you to sleep. They're not really very quick, Malin Jones and his backcourt, Ty Isaac, but they would get into open field, and they are so fluid. This time it's Isaac off the left side looking for a block, breaking a tackle, 30, 25, and he's going to run into a blocker and get knocked out of bounds, but not before another huge play and a first down for the offense of JCA down to the 22-yard line of Sacred Heart-Griffin. But I tell you, Jason, when you got the luxury of two running backs in your backfield like Isaac and Jones, it is just, you kind of feel like a car dealership with nothing but Lexuses and Marquis floating around, if you know what I mean.
Or Hondas. For the Honda Superstore of Joliet, our title sponsor today.
There you go, right down the road from Lewis Joliet Mall. And this time it's going to be Malin Jones. He's out into the flat, far to the near side. He'll get into the end zone in the corner, crossing the goal line for the third score of the half for JCA. From the 22-yard line, Malin Jones heading for Northwestern, but this time going south before he graduates, finds the corner of the end zone, and the soon-to-be Wildcat is smiling in a JCA uniform. Again, Isaac Grashoff for the point after, and this one kind of clips the upright and pounds through despite the wind. A nice hold by Morrison and a strong leg for Grashoff makes the difference against Mother Nature on that one. And he'll dot the I on the touchdown with the exclamation point. And it's 21-0 here at Joliet Memorial. All Hilltopper football, 21-0 over the visitors from Springfield, Sacred Heart-Griffin.
Yeah, it's amazing when you see these two running backs, the size that they have. And it doesn't look, when you see like a smaller guy out there running, it seems like they're just churning. Their legs are going so fast. They seem like they're moving. But these guys really run like just fine-tuned athletes because it doesn't even look like he was outrunning anybody, but he got to the corner, not a problem for Ty Isaac in that 22-yard touchdown run. It's a pleasure to watch these guys, especially when you know that they're going to to this next level and being able to see a student athlete here that's doing it for the love of the game, but also doing it well.
Natural ability abounding, no doubt. 6 plays, 59 yards on the drive, culminating with a 22-yard touchdown gallop for Malin Jones. And just like that, Sacred Heart-Griffin is going to need some help here to keep this one from turning into a perhaps continual clock later on down the road, because they are trailing by 3 scores here. And this is eerily familiar to what happened last weekend in Washington, just outside of Peoria. And this team is looking like a juggernaut right now, Jason.
And we just got a little information here on Ty Isaac that he actually made an official visit last week, I don't know if you mentioned this, to Notre Dame.
Ah, boy, the Irish would be smiling in more ways than one if that young man would commit to South Bend. Grashoff's kick this time into the wind is going to be fair caught at the 15-yard line by Sacred Heart-Griffin. And I believe that is Mitch Trees, who is usually back on punt returns. He hasn't had a chance to return any on kickoffs either today until now. But Grashoff still, with that strong leg of his, doing battle with that 30-mile-an-hour wind out of the south. And it doesn't seem to really affect him all that much. That kid has got a future with the football as a kicker, no doubt.
That's one of the hardest things I've ever tried to do on a football field.
Smith rolling out and then trying to keep it as all his receivers were covered. And there'll be a loss on the play as he gets wrapped up center of the field inside the 15-yard line. They spotted just inside at the 15. It'll be a loss of maybe a yard. And just when the Cyclones need a drive, they lose a yard in their first snap of this second quarter on the possession. From the shotgun, Pat Smith, the senior QB, back to throw from his own 5-yard line. He'll look over and underthrow his intended receiver. They were trying to get that over to Brand on the near side, but underthrown towards the sideline and an incompletion again. So now 3rd and 11 for Sacred Heart-Griffin.
And Joliet really hasn't had to bring a lot of pressure off of blitzes and stuff. It seems like when he's dropped back, they've had a lot of pressure on him from that front four. And, keeping you out of rhythm, not allowing them to complete these passes, each one just kind of snowballs and adds up.
From the gun, back to throw, they're going to swing it out, and again, not being able to keep the handle on the football. The tailback, Harris, and this one is incomplete, setting up a 4th and long, and it will be punt time. The only good news, if you're a Cyclone fan, is that Pat Smith will be punting with the wind at his back.
You saw how much that wind has an effect on this ball. Grashoff with such a leg. When it went on that extra point, it went into and almost came back
after striking the upright. Right.
It was. You don't see winds like this too often. I guess you do in the Windy City here.
And this one with that left leg, Smith kind of punches it out of there. Malin Jones feeling on one hop at the 40, and he's hit immediately an ankle collared. Nobody will let go of the tackle there. That the nobody being Mike Reavy. Good work, special teams, for the wide receiver who's a senior on the offensive side, and he hangs on to the leg of Malin Jones and will not release, and so that's where JCA will be 1st and 10 at their own 40-yard line, so give Malin Jones 6 yards on the return of the Pat Smith punt. 1st and 10 now for the Hilltoppers. Once more, their 4th possession of the ball game. They have scored every time they have touched the ball this afternoon.
They've done a tremendous job keeping these guys off balance, a lot of that motion. Like I said, making it hard for them to realize who is going to get the ball. So they run that offense very effective and have the athletes to be able to do so.
JCA charged with holding on the kickoff return, puts the ball back at their own 30-yard line. And an interesting possession here. Perhaps we'll see complacency set in. I kind of doubt it. But they have a 3-touchdown lead. It'd be very easy to just run the ball 3 times. And they will hand it off and keep it on the ground. But it's Isaac who's kind of doing a little bit of a lambada dance, spinning off the ground after getting tackled, but staying on his feet and keeping his knee off the turf and getting to the 35 regardless. That's 5 yards. Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely a tremendously athletic play. Be able to spin and keep his hand and keep the rest of his body off of the ground and pick up the 5 yards. Tremendous play by Malin Jones.
And he's about 6'3". That's not an easy accomplishment for an athlete of that height. It's going to be Malin Jones following his blockers. He's got the 40 midfield, and he'll get knocked out of bounds, but not before he gets into Sacred Heart-Griffin territory at the Cyclone 41-yard line. It seems like Isaac with the first handoff, he softens it to the left side, and then Jones comes to the right side, and they just spread that offense, and they run the ball, and they run the ball, and they run the ball. A pickup of 16 yards for Mr. Jones, and it's 1st and 10 now at the 45-yard line of the Cyclones. The JCA offensive juggernaut continuing to roll here, going from the left to right or north to south. And here it is on a reverse from Jones. It's Isaac out on front. He's got some running room on the far side, and you'll get down close to the 30-yard line. Another first down for JCA and a pickup of almost 15 yards for number 33.
Just an absolutely amazing 1-2 punch that the Hilltoppers have here, and Malin Jones and Ty Isaac. It just it's amazing. Keeps everybody off guard because you don't know if it's going to go left, it's going to go right. And both of those guys on these last 2 runs showed just absolutely tremendous patience. They didn't just try to explode into a hole. They picked and chose where they were going to go and just let that blocking set up for them.
Reach gets the give this time, and the fullback squirts down inside the 30-yard line, a pickup of about 3 for the senior. Put the ball at the 2 yards, the 28-yard line.
And looks like we got another update here, actually a final. Loyola 28 and Glenbrook North 13. It's Loyola in the 8A final after being knocked out of the semis by Maine South the last 2 seasons.
Well, Malcolm Weaver and company Willie Polivos, they get it done out there. He's got all the tools with wide receivers as looking to follow his blocking and closing quickly this time. At the left side of the defensive unit, it was Malin Jones on the carry, but not before he gets down inside the 25-yard line to about the 24 of the Cyclones. But right you are, Jason. They had a bitter loss last year, and I was at that ball game. We did it when we were connected with Illinois Center for Broadcast. And wow, Matt Alviti and company came back along with Tiny Paul Preston, that water bug running back they got out there for the Hawks of Maine South.
Darren Sproles.
Yeah, there you go. Handoff. It's Isaac, and he's got some running from center of the field. Breaks the tackle, 5-yard line, touchdown JCA, and Tyler Isaac.
Actually, that was Malin Jones, I think. Yep. Sorry about that.
No, thank you. I appreciate the correction. 32 and 33. I should spot the difference. On a 3rd down and 4, it is Jones who gets into the end zone for the 4th score, all coming on the ground in this first half of play for Joliet Catholic. Once more, out of the hole of Morrison, Isaac Grashoff fights to win and gets it through the uprights. And with 5:50 remaining in this first half of football, it has been all Joliet Catholic on top here, 28-0 over the visitors from Springfield, Sacred Heart-Griffin.
Absolutely. Right now, they're getting these home crowd here very excited for what they're seeing in these 28-0 early lead here. Still a lot of time in this ball game. If you're JCA, you want to make sure that you come out and just continue to play defense the way that you have, because they really haven't given them much hope on the offensive end for if you're Sacred Heart-Griffin. Yeah,
I was talking with our talented cameraman before the ball game, Andre Wright, and Andre said, well, Jim, I'd be surprised if we don't see a continual clock before the ball game. I said, I would see this as more of a heavyweight match, and, well, you never want to listen to my expertise, because I was looking for a close ball game last week, and that one finaled out at 56-7, and we had a continual clock in the entire second half at Washington, and JCA is at it again.
Yeah, absolutely. They're firing on all cylinders, you should say, I guess. Rolling.
Keith Craig is going to hold it to keep the ball on the tee for Grashoff, and he hits a pop-up, and wow, the ball carrier returning that one, I believe that was Carter Pranger, and Pranger almost gets separated from his head at the center of the field, takes a heck of a shot, bounces right back up, no problem, but wow, the hitting out there by JCA is as equal to the offense they're putting on the field right now.
Absolutely. I mean, they are really putting on a show for these home crowds and everybody watching and listening at highschoolcube.com, huh?
No doubt about it. The proud leader in high school events and athletics across America. From the shotgun, Pat Smith standing back at his own 16-yard line. Back to throw, looking over the middle, and he incomplete. Pass intended for Neil Ahern on the far side hash, but overthrown. Smith has not had the touch today. Even with the wind at his back, he's just had trouble finding his receivers. And when you're down by 28 points, not a good sign if your offense can't function through the air.
Yeah, with this much wind, it's going to make it awfully hard. Even if it's at your back and it's in your favor, it's still not easy to start completing passes.
So that stops the clock with 5:44 left in the second quarter. They'll swing it out. And again, this one a little too hard for Pranger to handle, and it goes off his fingertips, incomplete. So now a 3rd and 10. And we should tell you, the guys down in the trenches for JCA defensively, defensive tackles of Matt Mamoser, the junior. He wears number 91, and Nick Colafello, number 45. Josh Falk, the all-conference number 88 senior, and the other defensive end, Matt Froelich, also an all-conference East Suburban Catholic senior, number 43. Back to throw. Smith throws over the middle, incomplete. Good defense there, deflected by Chris Harris from his safety spot. So again, the defense of JCA equal to the task.
We got another update here as Prairie Ridge is up 26-13 over Batavia. It's the start of the fourth quarter there.
Yeah, Prairie Ridge coming in with an 11-1 mark. That ball game, I think that's in midway through the third, I would think now, probably in second half. It started at 1.
What's that, the Prairie Ridge?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it started the fourth, actually.
Long kick will take the bounce, and with the wind behind it, Pat Smith will get the benefit, as will Sacred Heart-Griffin, and no return for the Hilltoppers. A touchback will become the reality, as that one all the way out to the track on the south end of the gridiron.
That was, I don't know what the yardage was on that, but that ends up netting them with a touchback of 55 yards. That's this wind is wreaking havoc right now.
Yeah, Mother Nature, we have, as Tom Skilling likes to say, that violentness of our weather, that some places they like to refer to weather as a weather disturbance. Well, here we have nothing of the sort. It's old-fashioned in-your-face weather in the Midwest, and we've got one of those days today on the southwest side of Joliet. Another reverse from Jones to Isaac, and Isaac will tarry a couple tacklers out close to the 24-yard line, and right now, nothing fancy, probably better than anything, just kind of using up some ground as well as clock here.
It's been a long time since you've seen the Hilltoppers here even have to throw a pass because of the effectiveness of this running game.
Yeah, when you have elements, especially when you are going into the face of this wind, or I should say gale, keep it on the ground and continue to keep possession and move the football. It's all about keeping the ball in your possession. Not much running room on that side for Jones as he goes off of a tackle, maybe a yard at best. For the senior bound for Northwestern, Slowik comes to the sideline again. We'll have a word with head coach Pat Sharp, who wears a number of hats here. He's also the athletic director for Joliet Catholic. And we want to remind you again, today's broadcast brought to you by the Honda Superstore of Joliet, serving the community for over 19 years. Their philosophy is customer service first and foremost that you will not forget. Committed to your complete satisfaction for world-class sales and service. You can contact them at hondaofjoliet.com, located at 3225 North Plainfield Road in Joliet, across from the Lewis Joliet Mall. And don't forget, 0.9% financing in any new Honda when you mention highschoolcube.com. The third and short was not much but a yard at best for the ground game.
At Malin Jones, they made a great play between Noah Becker and I believe it was Alex Palmer, I believe. Oh, Connor Peters, number 78 for the Sacred Heart-Griffin to the Cyclones. They made a tremendous play and were able to keep them to no gain there.
Yeah, you got those tackles to Ketchum and Peters, and then the ends of Connor Brand, who you said combined for that stop. Also Matt Sables, the other defensive end. And there'll be a timeout taken by Joliet Catholic here. We want to remind you, you're listening to highschoolcube.com. I'm Jimmy Dragg alongside Jason Lashiza, and also our fine cameraman braving the elements today, Andre Wright out there. We are the proud leader in internet activities and athletics across the country. And we want to get a shout-out to the mothership down in Austin, Texas. And we can't forget Larry and Elizabeth Cotter. And also a shout-out to Maureen. And, of course, Kevin Doyle. Maureen Toner and Kevin Doyle are our contacts. And Jimmy the Macman McAteer, also the proud crew of the Midwestern branch of High School Cube, always keeping us up to date with our internet scores and all the information we can bring to you with the broadcast this afternoon on this very windy and chilly November 20th, 2011.
Well, you know, I think it's been a tremendous season. I know if I can speak for myself, being part of High School Cube, seeing all these talented young student athletes and enjoying the games and into, obviously, the semifinals here of the IHSA playoffs.
Grashoff on a quick kick, and it's blocked in the front. I think he actually kicked into one of his own offensive players, and quickly coming in there to rescue today is Slowik, the quarterback, to down the ball or at least keep possession of it so no return can be made at the 22-yard line. And right now, with a little more than 3 minutes to go in the half, it is Sacred Heart-Griffin with a chance here with some field position, the best of the ball game, inside the 25-yard line of JCA. And that was a quick kick that I don't think surprised anyone. Perhaps, though, if he'd have got it through the line of scrimmage, it might have been a little better. The handoff by Smith goes to Whitaker, and he meets a trio of defenders. First met there by Austin Bolton from his middle linebacker spot. Also coming in to help out was Matt Froelich. And a number of brown jerseys surround the ball carrier. A loss of 3 yards for Whitaker. And a 2nd now and 13. From the shotgun, Smith at the 35 of JCA. Receivers right and left. Smith looking to the center of the field, and I think we had contact, no flag. Inadvertent as best, but it was contact by JCA and Brody Wilhelmi from his cornerback spot.
Well, as they say, they have the defensemen, also the defenders have just as much right to the football as the offense does. He didn't have to go through him. He was making a play on the football, which was actually a tremendous play. While we have time also, I know you've been giving shout-outs. I'd like to give a shout-out to Micah Nolte, who built High School Cube. All the technology that powers HSC is built by him. He is our Chief Technology Officer.
The guru with the man with the pixels. There's a touchdown, center of the field. Smith finds his wide receiver, Mike Reavy, but there's a flag out on the far side hash mark, question mark, will it hold up? A nice throw with the wind at his back by Pat Smith, the senior quarterback. Reavy, center of the field with the reception at the 5, brings it center of the gridiron in for the score. And it is declined. Penalty was charged against the defense of Joliet Catholic Academy, and so the touchdown will stand. From the 27-yard line? 25-yard line. Smith to Reavy for the touchdown reception. And splitting the uprights for the point after is Neil Ahern. And with 2:30 remaining in this first half of football, the goose egg, or the monkey on the wall, if you will, on your back by Sacred Heart-Griffin has been removed, and they're on the board here for the first time today, trailing 28-7 as a result of that touchdown reception.
And it was really the play that set that up turned out to be that block punt there. Got them in tremendous field position, not knowing exactly how much you were going to get behind that. I know he has a great leg there and everything, but really when you start at about your 23-yard line, you got to be happy with that one. And then, the first play, you see them lose about 3 yards, 2-3 yards, push them back and then be able to come back with this one. You got to be happy to get on the board because, once again, with 2.5 minutes left in this first half, there's a lot of game to be played.
And right now cutting that 4-touchdown deficit to 3. With 2:30 remaining, we'll have to see what, if anything, Sacred Heart-Griffin may just decide to try an onside kicker. I kind of doubt that with the wind at their back, but we've seen stranger things in Illinois football throughout the years. Michael Reavy, Grant Wallace doing the holding right now. That's Kenny Rao, I'm sorry. Kenny Rao with the long kick that goes across the goal line. It was fielded by JCA. And Chris, check that, number 28 for JCA. That's Grant Harrison. And Harrison all set to bring it across and out from the end zone, but it had crossed the plane, and the touchback was called here by our officiating team. So 1st and 10 now for Craig Slowik in the offense. It's going to go to Isaac, and Isaac turns it out on the far side, and another first down for number 33 as he advances all the way out to his own 34-yard line, a pickup of almost 14 yards for that talented junior running back.
And another game-saving tackle, I think, by actually that might have actually been Chris Harris on that one.
Yeah, Harris is one of these ball players that goes both ways, running back as well as a corner on the defensive unit for Coach Ken Leonard. Handoff to Malin Jones, breaks the tackle. Looks like he was down on his knees, but somehow keeps his hand from allowing the knee to contact the turf and fights his way up to about the 35-yard line. So no gain, but no loss, more importantly, I guess, with that, again, athletic play by Jones.
Oh, absolutely. And then you see another great play, back-to-back tackles by Chris. Well, Chris Harris didn't make the tackle on that one, but he was the one who made the play. He stuffed Tyler Reitz in the backfield there to, who was Ty Isaac's lead blocker.
Handoff goes to Isaac again, running into his own blocker, bouncing it out to the far side, escapes the tackler, and he gets out into the secondary and all across and out of bounds, but not before he gets across the midfield stripe and very close to the 45-yard line of Sacred Heart-Griffin. Clock stops with 1:29 after the first down and more for number 33. And again, Joliet Catholic showing their ability to move the ball quickly on the ground and just get the chains out of front, and maybe perhaps thinking about one more score before intermission and getting that touchdown back that they kind of set up with that bad punt.
They definitely got some scoring on their mind. They are already scored 28 points in this first half. Like you said, giving up that 7 points wasn't something they had in their plans, so they want it back. And they want it back, it looks like, pretty bad. But once again, the nice thing about this offense with the motion and things like that, you keep people off balance. A lot of times what you see offenses do by spreading the field, they do it, and they do it safely with running the football. They got to look at it like even with the minute and 20 seconds left, we have enough playmakers running the football that we don't have to take chances and possibly turn the football over even. So not only do they have the big play capability of it, but they can also do it safely.
Without a risk.
Right.
Exactly.
Very low risk and very high reward for this JCA offense.
And on a day like today, as you said, Jason, I mean, when especially you're going into the teeth of a 30-mile-an-hour wind, on a day when it's not friendly for receivers as well to catch the football, and we've seen a number of difficult situations for Sacred Heart-Griffin on the passing end of it, as this handoff goes to Jones, and he forces his way up close to down to the 40-yard line of Sacred Heart-Griffin, so a pickup of almost 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Off to the sideline for Joliet Catholic is Nate Dollinger, the reserve fullback. And back in comes Ty Isaac. And it will be Isaac with the carry inside the 40 and down very close to the first down marker. I think they're going to spot him just shy of the 37-yard line. So it will be 3rd and a short 2 for a Hilltopper first as we are down under the final minute of football. And we have a timeout on the field from Joliet Memorial Stadium on West Jefferson in Joliet, where the home team, the Hilltoppers, are in control of the situation as well as whatever elements Mother Nature could throw out to them today. And they lead here 28-7 in this 5A state semifinal with a berth down in Champaign a week from today hanging in the balance.
No, absolutely. They got to be very pumped, ready to go. I mean, you see, obviously, very happy with a 28-7 lead, but not satisfied.
No, they're not complacent. They want more, and I think that's the mark of a ball club that they want to take you out there and they want to eliminate you. And this is one of those games where the winner goes home. The winner moves on, and the loser goes home.
Oh, absolutely. There's like you say, said in movies, it's where you leave it all out on the field. You know what I mean? It's as cliche as they can be, but that's what these young men look to be doing here today.
3rd and 2. Back to throw. Slowik into the wind. He's got a receiver. Complete and down inside the 10-yard line. He finds the big tight end, and that's Zach Reeson. And Reeson carries the mail down inside the 20 to a 1st and goal for the Hilltoppers. They spot it at the 5-yard line. It's a 32-yard reception. Slowik to Reeson, and quickly, as the cowbells are banging in the background, Slowik will spike the ball on the turf to stop the clock with 38 seconds remaining in the quarter, and I should say in the first half. And again, it's JCA looking for more on the scoreboard.
Hey, right now, that was a tremendous play caught them completely off guard with the amount of running, had the wind in their face, and was still able to come up with that.
Slowik back to throw again from the 18-yard line. Incomplete. Pass intended over on the left side hash mark for Isaac Grashoff, the tight end.
And Malin Jones actually almost came up with that behind him as the ball was tipped. Just another few inches, and that would have been a touchdown for Ty Isaac there as he, with a heads-up play, almost came up with a tremendous play here before the end of the first half.
Well, we still have 33 seconds remaining, and Coach Dan Sharp, the offensive coordinator and head man, is thinking more in lines of throwing the football, and if it's incomplete, well, the good news is you got another down, and there's still time left in this final minute of football in this first quarter. Under center, Slowik. He's going to give it to Isaac, and Isaac's got one man to beat around the far sideline, and he gets across the pylon and into the end zone. A flag comes a-flying after the score, but I'm sure this one's going to stand. Tyler Isaac in for another touchdown from the 5-yard line.
I don't know. Where that came in looks like it could have been a block in the back against Tyler Reitz. I think that's what the officials might be huddling here about to see if he got his helmet in front of him or not.
The umpire, Jim Glickert and Ken Kessler. And I talk about Jason right on the money. Our fine producer extraordinaire, Jason Isaac, with the call. And, man, you were right there, my friend.
Oh, it's a shame because I don't know that that Malin Jones doesn't run that in even without the block.
He didn't need that. That was further away from the action. You're right. He had plenty of room one-on-one with that defender on that far side corner to get inside the pylon for the score. But sometimes in the heat of the moment and with a ball game with this type of high-end dividend, he can make a mistake. Slowik back from his own 13-yard line on timing pattern, up in the air, and almost Isaac wrestles it away from the defensive back there, Harris. A battle between two of the better running backs on the field here. But this time, of course, Harris is from his corner spot, and Malin Jones is acting as a wide receiver out there in that near side corner.
Yeah, he turned into the defensive back there because that looked like to be a sure interception. But he made a play on the ball. Didn't go through the defender even though it wouldn't have been a horrible play on an offensive pass interference to keep give yourself a chance to at least kick this.
So I thought we might see Grashoff, and he is. Actually, he's going to set up at the 19-yard line. This will be a 29-yard field goal attempt. 22 seconds remaining before intermission. JCA trying to get 3 more here. Nick Morrison with the hold, and Grashoff with a high wobbler. Can it make it? The wind blows it back in front of the crossbar. But you got to like Grashoff trying, and Coach Dan Sharp to give him the opportunity. So all the way down the field, more than 60 yards on the drive that comes up short at the 12-yard line of the Cyclones. Grashoff's field goal from 29 yards out just can't fight the gale enough.
No, it's this wind is really wreaking havoc on what these kicking teams can do. Sometimes it's benefiting, as you can see from that 75-yard punt that that the Cyclones were able to boot off at the end of their last possession. But really is too bad because the kid has a tremendous leg in Grashoff. So if he can't make it, I don't think there's many people out there can. It kind of reminds me of a few years back on that Chicago Bears and San Francisco game that I think it was Nathan Vasher returned the miss for the at the time was a record-tying touchdown.
Smith's going to throw this one out of bounds under pressure back at his own 10-yard line. And that'll leave 9 seconds remaining before intermission. And that was a bit of a desperation attempt there. Right now, not a lot of time left on the clock, but they do have the wind at their back, but trying to get something out of nothing here right now. And I don't know. I can see this thing kind of turning into an interception gone awry, if you know what I mean.
It's a calculated risk that the coach has to take here. Obviously, being down, you want to make sure you can get some points, and hopefully you can. But with this amount of time, it's a very high risk and low reward.
Smith will air it out on the right side. He's got his running back Whitaker on the reception. Whitaker gets 9 yards, and I believe that'll be the last. No, they call a timeout quickly before the clock can unwind completely. And with 2.5 seconds left, there'll be one more snap before the respective teams will head to their locker rooms.
Yeah, not a bad play call there because the Hilltoppers defense was definitely playing in a prevent and was back off of everybody. So if they can pick up maybe one more block there,
you never know.
Exactly, because everyone's off. That gives your offensive linemen, your receivers, everybody time to work themselves upfield and get into position to lay a block that could potentially cut this lead. And versus 21-14, you would be ecstatic if you could do this if you were Coach Leonard here.
Well, we've got 2.5 seconds remaining in this ballgame, the 5A semifinal between the visitors from Sacred Heart-Griffin all the way down in Springfield, Illinois, and the home team that has been pretty much on a mission despite with a 10-2 mark. Sacred Heart-Griffin comes in here undefeated at 12-0, but the Joliet Catholic Academy home squad of the Hilltoppers right from down the road on their Larkin campus with a 28-7 advantage and trying to hang on for one more play to take that lead into the locker room. Harris is the intended receiver. Smith's got him, center of the field, and a pickup of enough for a first down at the 40, but that will be the last play. That's Michael Reavy, the wide receiver, making the catch there, not Harris. So we've played through the first half of football, and it's been mostly a lot of smiles and the cowbells clanging here for the home squad, the Hilltoppers of Joliet Catholic Academy. And they are in control here by a score of 28-7. We don't want you to go anywhere. You're listening to highschoolcube.com. Stick around for our halftime update in a few moments, and we'll be back with all of the thrilling second half in this 5A semifinal matchup on highschoolcube.com. Welcome back to ATI Field and Joliet Memorial Stadium, where the score is 28-7. First half statistics for the leading Hilltoppers, 2 quarters away from a trip back down to University of Illinois Champaign and a 5A title ball game. JCA led by the 132 yards on 13 carries for Malin Jones and 1 touchdown. Jones scoring that run on a 24-yard scamper. Also his backfield mate, Tyler Isaac, 12 carries, 101 yards, 2 touchdowns. And the big receiver, and there's not a cup, there's only 2 passes that were caught here. Isaac Grashoff, 1 for 53 yards. Quarterback Craig Slowik, 2 for 6, 84 yards in the first half. On the flip side, Pat Smith, 4 of 14 for 51 yards, the quarterback for Sacred Heart-Griffin. And his leading ball carrier, that's number 18, all right, wide receiver, I should say, Michael Reavy, 3 catches for 43 yards and the only touchdown for the Cyclones. Total yards, 102 for Sacred Heart-Griffin and 333, are you ready for that, for Joliet Catholic Academy. First downs, again, a big imbalance. 14 first downs for the Hilltoppers and just 3 for the visitors from Springfield, Sacred Heart-Griffin. So, again, the breeze, that strong gale out of the south, going crossways from right, not crossways, but right to left, will benefit Sacred Heart-Griffin as they kick off to Joliet. That's going to be Rowe with a long end over end into the end zone and across the end line and out of the field of play, all the way to the track on the north end of the gridiron. I mean, that wind is just relentless today. And as a result, 1st and 10 for the Hilltoppers at their own 20. We'll have to see again. Instead of throwing the ball when they need to, they will just try to grind it out on the ground. We'll keep an eye on number 32, Malin Jones, and, of course, his running mate, Ty Isaac, number 33. And we should see more of the same as Slowik hands off straight ahead. I think that might have been the fullback Reitz. From my vantage point, a great play defensively, no gain, and it was indeed number 21. So Reitz gets nothing on the first snap of the third quarter. I'm Jimmy Dragner. This is highschoolcube.com. Jason Lachiza, our fine producer, on my left. Andre Wright, our cameraman, braving the elements outside, and our guest, the graduate of Joliet Catholic Academy from the class of 51, Ed Zorn. And we'll be speaking with Ed in a minute here. Handoff to the near side. It's going to go to Jones. Jones trying to turn the corner, 20, and he'll get upended. A nice play defensively for Sacred Heart. Knifing in through there from his safety spot was Sean Kenzel. And Kenzel stops that forward progress of Jones before too much damage can be done. A pickup of maybe 4 at best for number 32. And a third and a long, and I do stress this, a long 6 for the offense of JCA, and it's going to rest on the shoulders and the legs of Isaac, and he's got way more than he needs as he crosses midfield before he's run out of bounds. On the far sideline, number 33, when you need 5 yards, he can get you 25. I like that kid. I like him a lot. He's going Division I next year. The year after, he's only a junior.
Malin Jones, though. Sorry to burst your bubble there. It was great.
It was 32. It wasn't 33.
No, 33 is Malin Jones.
Well, that's probably why I've been getting the numbers backwards.
Yeah, Malin Jones is 33. Ty Isaac is 32.
Well, I still got to tell you, 132 yards, and there's center of the field, and it's Ty Isaac this time, near side, far side hash mark, into the end zone.
Well, what they say, you have ESP. You knew that was going to happen. You foresaw the future.
My mistake was my advantage. Touchdown, JCA. 49 yards down the far side hash mark for Ty Isaac. And the junior has his third touchdown of the ball game, and more importantly, more cushion for the JCA lead, as out of the hold by Morrison is Grashoff with the point after. And now with 10-13, less than 2 minutes into this third quarter, again, JCA on the board 35-7, looking for a ticket to Champaign next Saturday.
And not only did that give him a 49-yard touchdown run, but that moved him ahead now of on the all-time rushing list, for single-season rushing list, of Mike Alstott, who obviously we all know, or most of us should know, played in the NFL for many years with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Don't want to speak like everyone does, but imagine as popular as he was, the A-Train, Ty Isaac just surpassed him. And that gives him, 44 touchdowns now on the year. 44.
But you need a spreadsheet, a calculator, and a pen with a sharp point to keep track of that young man's accomplishments this year. And like you said, Jason, Mike Alstott, no slouch running the ball from the fullback spot in the NFL. He was a punishing runner, and he was a runner that was so vastly productive here at this school at Joliet Catholic Academy, and Mr. Isaac is just a junior.
He has next year to prove that he can do it again.
Grashoff, with a dying quail as a result of Mother Nature, gets a bounce there and almost lost off the hands of the receiving player for Sacred Heart-Griffin, Carter Pranger, and then it goes out of bounds mercifully for the visitors. Otherwise, that may have been a turnover on the kickoff. And you get it inside the 30-yard line. That's almost another 6 points in the bank, if you will, for this Hilltopper juggernaut of a ground attack. So 35-7, and Sacred Heart-Griffin trying to find something positive to hang their hat on. And there's Smith with a nice keeper, first down yardage and more, 35, 40, far side, one man to beat. He'll break the tackle, but then get ridden down from behind with a touchdown-saving stop there. And I believe that was Dominic Allen from his free safety spot that prevented Smith from going all the way down the field, 75 yards. That line of scrimmage was the 25-yard line. And Smith all the way down to the JCA 37. So do the math. I wished I could. Thank you. The man with the plan next to me, our executive producer, Jason Lachiza. And that one incomplete off the hands of the intended receiver. That was Mitch Trees on the near side. Can't hang on. And we have seen that all day, Jason. These passes just a little too much on them by Smith. Not the fault of the senior quarterback. It's a tough day to catch a ball out there.
Oh, absolutely. These elements are tough to throw the football in, and you can see it. Once again, a lot of that can be contributed, I think, to JCA's pressure, but sometimes just not.
And that tackle in the backfield, it'll be a loss on the play.
Matt Mimoser blew that play up. I mean, he shot the gap like they handed him the play call. that was a tremendous play.
Mimoser wraps up Harris before Harris really got a step in his own backfield, a loss of a yard. So now a 3rd and 11. Back in the shotgun is Smith from his own. Check that to JCA 47, incomplete. Trying to find Michael Reavy, his favorite target this afternoon, center of the football field, around the 20 of the Hilltoppers, but it goes incomplete. So now a 4th down, and of course this is 4th and you're going for it. I don't care if it's 5th down or 6th down. Your offense has got to keep playing for another chance with the football.
Yeah, you got the wind. You know, in all likelihood, it would end up being a net punt of about 17 yards anyways. So, you know, field position at this goes out the window. You got to go for it, and hopefully pick it up.
You've got to pull the stops here. You're down by 4 scores. It's put up, shut up, go home. And they've got a long ride home to begin with. They don't want to make it any longer. Back to throw, Smith rolling out to the near side, center of the field, and he gets decapitated. Oh, my goodness. Knifing in through there, Adam Collins from his strong safety pot, separating Pat Smith from the football. It goes incomplete. Forward progress on the throw necessitates the incompletion as a result of his arm going forward. But wow, did Smith take a shot.
They actually called that a sack and a fumble. Yeah.
Yes.
Sack and a fumble by Adam Collins. I mean, great play call by the defensive coach here, because that was, I mean, really tremendous.
So 1st and 10, JCA with good field position at their own 48. All kinds of room for Isaac. 30, 20, 10. He's going to get into the end zone on the near side corner. Tyler Isaac off to the races again, and they are crazy. Crazy.
He is looking to break all the records today, and he just keeps adding to his own. 45 touchdowns on the season. Tremendous.
Well, you know, you saw him play so well the first time we saw him on the field last week in Washington with 3 touchdowns, but today he's putting on a clinic. It's a show. Out of Morrison's hold, despite the breeze, Grashoff, exclamation point on the Isaac touchdown ramble.
54 more yards.
From 54 yards out, and with 8:50 remaining, if it wasn't over at halftime, well, we don't want you to leave, but by all means be aware that the trip going to Champaign should very belong to the chocolate and colored white colors of Joliet Catholic Academy. The Honda Superstore of Joliet has been serving the community here for 19 years. They're located right across the street from Louis Joliet Mall, 3225 North Plainfield Road. They have a philosophy where customer service is always the best, and you can find it at the Superstore of Joliet. You won't forget their customer service, and they've been committed to their satisfaction of customers for all the 19 years of their business. World-class sales and service. Mention our ad at highschoolcube.com, and you'll get 0.9 financing on any select new Honda. And hey, you know what? They're bulletproof. I owned a 91 in Arizona, had no rust, it had a moonroof, and man, I'll tell you what, I still wish I owned that car.
They are very nice.
Oh, the wind just taking that kick by Grashoff, and what a bounce. And somehow coming out of here almost looking like an infielder, fielding a one-hop dying quail behind second base. I can't believe the play by Matt Froelich. The defensive end corralled that one like he was a infielder and falls on the ball wisely at the 38-yard line.
We do have a couple updates here in this wonderful game.
Calm me down, my friend. Calm me down.
Finals. Bolingbrook 22 over Naperville Central 19. And once again, we talked about it earlier, Loyola 28, Glenbard North 13. Both of them 8A finals.
Well, Mike Alstott, and of course I said Willie Polivos and his talented Malcolm Weaver at the quarterback spot. All respect to the Catholic Conference Blue. And the Ramblers are going to the show next Saturday at the 8A for the first time in some time.
Yeah. I was able to do one of their games earlier in the season when they played Fenwick. Very impressive.
Oh, that offense it's a pro set style, and they do it like they look like at least a Division I college team. They are very talented and well coached. The handoff will go to Jones. He's into the open field on the near side. From the 28-yard line, touchdown, Joliet Catholic. My line of scrimmage is a movable feast today, Jason. From the 34-yard line, I'm thinking about Thanksgiving 6 days early. Bring me a turkey today. I want a movable feast. Well, I had mentioned it earlier, and I hate to say you were right, Andre Wright, but he said continual clock, and we're there. And somehow that one stays up long enough on the strength of Grashoff's leg out of the hole to Morrison with 8:07 and all kinds of time left. It will be a continual clock now, 49-7. More than 40 is the lead for the juggernaut on the ground. Joliet Catholic, the Hilltoppers, in command.
You can say that for certain. Everything is rolling their way. I mean, to come up with that, what turned out to be just as effective as an onside kick with this wind, and then just turn it into quick points with, a 34-yard touchdown run. This time, by Malin Jones.
I mean, if you're Frazier, you're really on the ropes, and it's Muhammad Ali stinging you like a butterfly and a bee.
There's no doubt on that. I mean, this is rolling now. Just tremendous momentum that they have. We got to keep an eye on this here because this is still going to be interesting. Another kick like that.
Isaac Grashoff, speaking of kicking, I'm telling you, he is an X factor when it comes to you playing in big ball games. I mean, he not only can catch the ball as a tight end, but his leg is just a gift for field position for the Hilltoppers all season. Feel it on a little bit of a loop and a nice return there across the 30-yard line. That was Malik Turner, the reserve wide receiver, who almost got out into the open field with that one, got something out of nothing back at his own 16-yard line, circling the wagons and bringing it all the way out to the 34-yard line. Check that, the 33 of Sacred Heart-Griffin. That's where they are, 1st and 10. Pat Smith, the senior quarterback, back in the shotgun, and it is student body right, student body left, 4 receivers to the near side and 1 to the top of your screen as Smith bubble screens it out to his wideout. I believe that's Mitch Trees, and Trees with a sea of blockers ahead of him fights his way across the 40-yard line and gets bounced out of bounds rudely, but not before I think he should have almost 9 yards on the reception and the run following. And that hurry-up offense, no huddle. They're still trying to find a rhythm, but trailing by 41, it's going to be difficult at this stretch. High snap, Smith gets it and deflected and incomplete. That hit the ground, I believe. Good work coming through there. I believe that was deflected by the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, it looked like it was deflected by Nick Colafello.
Colafello from his defensive end spot.
Was able to get his paw up there and knock that one down. We do have another final score here also as actually 2 of them. Boylan 16 over Lake Zurich 10. Prairie Ridge will move on also with a 33-22 win over Batavia.
Smith with a little pass out on the right side of the flat, and there's some running room for the receiver. That's Mitch Trees, and Trees gets it out across midfield and into JCA territory at the Hilltopper 48-yard line. A nice first down and a reception and a good run after the catch for Trees. And something for the cold and huddled visitors here on the far side. That would be the east side of the grandstand to hang their hats on. Smith running out of trouble, but he can't escape it, and he's wrapped up by the big defensive end there, Josh Falk. And the 6'5", 205-pound senior almost wraps him up like it's time for the holidays.
Yeah.
Put him at a loss of about 5 on the play. It was a nice play there to come in, and as Smith tried to roll around and keep time, he brings him down.
Against Pat Smith, the wide in the shotgun. The quarterback's gone all the way for the Cyclones today from his own 40. He's going to roll out under pressure, tries to set up a little short screen, and it's caught. But as soon as the catch is made by Connor Brand gets wrapped up in a hurry. Did you catch the number on the defender there, Jason?
Yeah,
I did not.
That was actually Adam Collins again.
And that's fundamental football. Collins got a hold of him, and, I mean, he's going down with the ship.
Yeah, he read that play perfectly because that was a pretty nice play design there, trying to draw everybody to the left side and throw it back across the right. And
against
that
the flow.
Could have went for a long ways, but Adam Collins.
Well, Collins,
head in the game.
He didn't bat down the ball, but once you know you're going to make the reception, wrap up the ball carrier after he makes the catch. That pass incomplete at about the 40 of JCA. That'll stop the clock here with 4:38 of this third quarter. Again, the semifinal ball game at the 5A level, what hanging in the balance, as we said at the beginning of the game, was a trip to Champaign, but it's not quite the balance now, as we have a 49-7 lead belonging to the Hilltoppers, and they are all but set to take a bus ride a week from today down to U of I and represent the 5A level of competition at IHSA and looking for perhaps their 14th state title. They lead.
They have a lot of them.
They got a lot.
They just passed the 100-win mark last week.
It's a juggernaut. This school is a football school first and foremost, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. I believe that was Trees. Looked like he had it but couldn't hang on. Mitch Trees, the wide receiver at about the 45. And that will give possession of the football, and the cowbells in the background should tell you it goes back to the Hilltoppers of JCA with good field position at their own 49-yard line. Another sponsor for today's 5A semi is Semino's Pizza, and Jason keeps looking over at me like saying, when are we going? A perfect place for a night out with friends, a celebration with family, or just after a 5A semifinal. Visit Semino's at 1630 Essington Road in Joliet, or on the web at CEMENO pizza.com. They have superb pasta, tasty sandwiches, and more than anything, they've been doing it since '76, almost like this football program here at JCA. They are time-tested, and they are producing perfection.
Oh, I like it. I love it. I love the addition there. That was wonderful.
ATI Field, the physical therapy specialist, is the turf. And it is some nice-looking field turf here. The site is Joliet Memorial Stadium for the young women and men that fought in our armed forces during World War II and the Korean War. And it is the home field of the Hilltoppers, and they have defended it well today. And sidestepping tackles and just kind of running a little bit of clock down now is Isaac Jones.
Jones.
Isaac. It's a law firm. It's Jones and Isaac and Jones. They're getting it done in any case.
Either way, you're calling out for a great running back. I mean, that's what it was.
You can't lose. You can't lose. The senior Jones heading to Northwestern next year, and who knows where the top end will be for Ty Isaac. But, wow, he'll be back next year for more football, and hopefully High School Cube will be here to tell you about it. The handoff on a reverse. No, yeah, it is. It is a reverse from Jones to Isaac. And this time, after about the third or fourth time of not stopping it, finally the defense of Sacred Heart-Griffin comes through to handle the stop. I think that was
Ryan Williamson, I think.
I think you're right. And also looking like, well, it was Ryan Williamson and company. It was him twice.
Yeah.
He brought his brother along. They were both wearing number 52. I don't believe it. Dan Sharp, 15 years at the helm, also the AD here at Joliet Catholic Academy, and he has got his team in fine order. 13 state titles. I can't quite read what that word says.
That's 3 second place.
Ah, okay, runner-ups. I got you.
Yes.
Hey, you know what? Mr. Zorn's been sitting next to me so quiet here. Ed, give us a little more. You were telling us before. We were talking at halftime, and we love to share history. I'm a history buff myself. You were talking about back in the day when the tower used to be over at the old campus.
Yes, the tower was on the second building they built there on Broadway Street. It was a gigantic cement poured tower, and when the teams won, the tower was lit, so you can see that the light all around the area, and you knew that Catholic High won whatever they were playing, be it basketball or football or whatever. So anyway, when they moved in 1990 to their new location, they wanted to move the tower along with them, but due to the fact that the movement would be so much money involved, they decided to leave it where it's at. Now the old school is into a senior citizens home, but whenever you drive down Jefferson Street, you can still see the tower, and it's still in beautiful condition.
You know, it's a shame that they still don't light that baby up. That would be kind of neat, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. It was a history, you know. If you were working on a job like I was and you didn't know the score, all you got to do is just drive by the building, and if the light was on, you knew we won.
Almost a little bit like that big blue W that happens on the north side. Not enough.
Not enough.
Thank you, Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I agree.
And that was 1990, you said, the year of the merger. That's when the school went co-ed, right?
Yes. Yes, they moved the old school population all to the new school, and then they left the building empty. And it was empty for a couple of years, and they finally, somebody took it over to make it into a nursing home, or basically assisted living.
A lot of running room there for a second out of nothing by Ty Isaac. And he almost broke that one across midfield, gets ankle collared at his own 41-yard line. Not enough for the first down, and that will be over on downs. I don't think we're going to see too many more punts, but Sacred Heart-Griffin with 41 seconds left in the third will call a timeout. Ed, you got a great picture here that shows this fine Memorial Stadium back in, what is the date of that? That shows when there's nothing but farmland around here and running boards on cars, mind you.
That's back in 1951 when it was completed.
$1 million exposition pageant of progress.
Yes, they used to have the progress over here in the 50s, and then for some reason or other they no longer had it. But anyway, Joliet Catholic, they played the second game that was played at the Memorial Stadium. And
who played the first one? Would it have been St. Francis?
It was JT Central. The public school down here.
I see, which is no longer.
Well, no.
JC, Joliet Central. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Joliet Central.
Okay, right. So public first, Catholic second.
Yes. And when they seen they had such a beautiful facilities in the IRS high school, they decided we'll have the playoffs starting over here when the playoffs started. And I can't remember what year that was offhand. But it might have been, I think 93, something like that, when they started the new playoff like they have today.
That pass was overthrown by Smith to Neil Ahern, and he comes off the sideline limping considerably. A nice attempt there, but it looks like he may have pulled something in his attempt to get down that far sideline and make the grab. He'll stay on this sideline right now amongst his teammates. And this will be the last play of the quarter if Smith can get it off. 4 seconds on the clock in the third, back to throw. And Smith's not going to get rid of it. He'll have to eat the football at the 45-yard line of the Hilltoppers. And the final play of the third quarter is indeed another defensive stop here, or at least a fine defensive play, if you will, for the Hilltoppers. We've played through 3 quarters. And it is all Joliet Catholic Academy, 49-7. There are 12 minutes away from a bus ride to Champaign a week from today, right after they have their Thanksgiving dinner and watch the 1 through 4A games on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving 2011. Again, 1951 graduate next to me, Ed Zorn. And Eddie, it's just so much fun to talk with you.
Well, it's been my pleasure. My 2 sons also went to Joliet Catholic. My oldest son, Dan, he graduated in 1971. My youngest son, Bernie, he graduated in 1976. Now, going back to my days when I was there, I couldn't make the team because I didn't have the height and the size and the weight. So I was in the band. So what made it wonderful is that the band back in those days.
You went everywhere.
We traveled with the football team.
Wow, you guys were rock stars.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. We went down to Peoria, down to Springfield, in the band, and we marched at halftime, and it was great to be with the football team. You walk in there, you're pretending you're a player.
Smith puts one up. It's corralled nicely by the receiver, Carter Pranger, and he'll fight his way down to the 40-yard line. That'll be a first down for
actually,
the Cyclones.
Back to just the original line of original first down there.
Well, I was trying to talk up the visitors.
Trying to get them.
Yeah, I was trying to pump them
more
up
football,
there.
That's
Exactly. We got history going on the back burner, but we're trying to get this rally, make this game a little bit more interesting.
Tremendous tradition here at Joliet Catholic.
Oh,
There's no doubt here. I mean, this is something that is amazing.
Going back to my early days here at Joliet Catholic, one of the main things that we cherished when we didn't have a good football team is back in 1958, we were the first parochial school to win a state title. And the title that we won was in the title of golf. So our golfers went down to play wherever they played, probably down in Champaign. And we came home with a first place title. And we were the first school to win a title as a private school.
For golf. Congratulations. Wow. And that would have been probably, 1950?
1958.
58. Ah, okay, that was after you had graduated.
Yes.
Loose ball on the field, and the recovery belongs to JCA. Credited to Matt Madrigal. And Madrigal that all-conference selection in East Suburban Catholic Conference shows he's got a nose for the football, and number 17 comes out with the ball and smiling to the sidelines, getting it done. Handshakes all over the sideline for the senior inside. Check that, the junior inside linebacker. And the first turnover of the second half, actually, first turnover of the ball game, if you will, benefiting JCA late in this second half, early in this fourth quarter.
Obviously, if you're JCA, you got to love that. Kids are playing all the way to the end of this. You're up big here. You got a running clock, but they're not stopping. You go back, even though they picked up the first down, you go back a couple plays, and Austin Bolton actually made a tremendous play on the screenplay right before that first down that really made them force him to go for it on fourth, which they picked it up. But
it was a nice pass there by Smith to Chris Harris, which we didn't report to you, but I'm sure you're watching it. And Harris picked up almost 20 yards to put them in fine field position. That would have been Sacred Heart-Griffin. But now the Cyclones, after the turnover, are on the other side in the defensive mode, and it's 1st and 10 for JCA. Slowik under center at his own 15. Handoff straight ahead, running room for Tyler Reitz. He'll break tackles left and right, pick up the first down, and more to spare for the tiny fullback, who really is more of a blocker, but right there shows you he can carry the mail too. And number 21 gets it done, center of the field. First down for Tyler Reitz and JCA. Also a shout out to Andre Wright, who's out there braving the elements, our fine cameraman. We can't forget Andre's love affair with the caravan. And hats off to Frank Lenti and company, a big 39-6 winner against against Brother Rice last night at Gately Stadium. They will earn a trip to the Prep Bowl next Saturday on the lakefront. No, it won't be. It'll be at Gately. The news being that under the remodeling of being taking place at Soldier Field, they have locked the high schools out of Soldier Field for the Prep Bowl this year. And it was in the news just the other day. It's unfortunate, but it's a fact. So they'll play that Prep Bowl this year, only the second time in the Prep Bowl's storied history to be played outside of Soldier Field. And, in fact, back in 1937, if we want to share some history, 110,000 people saw Austin High School play Leo. 110,000, Eddie, back in the day when you were just a young whippersnapper.
When Gordy Gillespie was still there at the coach, Joliet Catholic played Julian at Soldier Field.
There you go, and that would have been in the Prep Bowl, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And the crowd exhorting the starters as they are coming out. Their work is done today for Coach Dan Sharp and JCA. And the reserves will see time in the last 7:37 of this ball game.
Tremendous effort by the starters here in JCA. Joliet Catholic, all these home fans got to be tremendously proud of them. I mean, they've had big plays. They've really, outside of a couple of big plays on the part of Sacred Heart-Griffin, they would have kept them even off the board. So
Nick Morrison, only a sophomore, number 3, who does all the holding, gets rudely ripped down as he heads out of bounds, but not before he picks up a few yards, and then a flag comes going into the affair there. Or is that a flag?
No, they got some fans in the back there actually throwing a football.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It almost looked like it could have been a flag flying into the fray there, but sometimes I see more than I should, and sometimes not enough. I'm here to tell you, though, I'm looking at Ed Zorn next to me on my right, and he's a smiling graduate of the 1951 class in more ways than one, and I'm really glad that Ed came up tonight and this afternoon to share all of the stuff that you've told us. It's been incredible, Ed. You're like a virtual history pile here.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's been my pleasure. I follow the team every year, and it seems like every year I get more involved with the team, and who does what, and how many yards they score, and how many touchdowns they score, and who's the leading scorer and stuff like that. And every year it seems like they're doing better all the time.
Well, 13 state titles, that's not shabby. That leads, and I know there's fans out there waiting me to say it. That is the all-time record for high schools in the IHSA archives, if you want to go and look. 13 state titles, and I'm telling you, I would be amiss to say I wouldn't be surprised before this year is over and November's in the books that they get number 14 a week from today.
With this type of a performance, you see what these young men and this coaching staff is capable of. they've already got, at this point, you can say it's 101 playoff victories now after breaking the 100 win mark last week.
Yeah, Morrison at the controls, hands off, and a nice second effort for the reserve running back. I believe that was Grant Harrison who had the carry.
I think you're right there, actually. Yep.
Well, it's a relief now that the starters are gone. I can identify Harrison between Malin Jones and Ty Isaac. I think I just passed the ACT by the skin of my teeth, my friend.
It was confusing. There's no doubt about it. You're looking at two tremendously gifted running backs, and they're coming from either side. It really doesn't matter. A lot of motion, and it throws all of us off.
Yeah, it's kind of like a wedge offense, the way they set that up. It's interesting. Instead of being in the backfield, both their backs are on kind of a diagonal slant behind the tight ends in the formation. And it all comes from that wedge formation that Dan Sharp makes his offense roll, and roll they have done today.
Yes, he should be very, very happy with the team's performance. It just seemed like it was a well-oiled machine, and everybody was doing their part, and it was clicking 100%.
Well, we have a National Guard Armory right out here in front of the fine facility here at Joliet Memorial, and I don't want to liken them to an army, but they have definitely rolled today. They would have made any general out in the field of battle happy with the way that this JCA team has just grounded out. And it's going to be a long bus ride home for Sacred Heart-Griffin and the Cyclones, having a long ways to go. Reserve running back, number 4, you got to tell me who he is. He's not on my roster.
He's not on mine either. This is the time that you start seeing these
mystery men,
sophomore players and freshmen that are
superheroes. They're superheroes. They're mystery men.
That was a movie.
It was one of my favorites.
Really?
I think I could have been. I could have been the bowler. I could have been the bowler.
I want to be the guy that threw the forks.
I always thought Janine Garofalo was an Italian woman I'd like to meet. She's got a lot of tattoos, though.
Now, there was many years that Joliet Catholic freshman sophomore team were undefeated for the whole year. So you figure, man, if these guys are undefeated now, look out for next year.
There you go. And speaking of next year, Kevin Jensen, the sophomore, tosses his hat into the ring and picks up a first down on the ground for who else but the chocolate and white Hilltoppers.
Just been impressive there. The fact that, taking these 3rd and 4th and longs and been able to pick them up and just keep chewing this clock out. Don't even give them, any hope with just over 3 minutes left in this game. Don't even let them touch the ball.
And, Morrison walks back out there into that huddle just like Craig Slowik. And, I mean, the parts are interchangeable. The team continues to function. As you said, Ed, a well-oiled machine they are offensively. Not to mention the defense that's only yielded 1 touchdown today. And all kinds of running. That's one's going to come back with an illegal block. Nick Morrison, though, got a lot more than he should have. And he made it look good because the sophomore rambled all the way down inside the 30-yard line. But the flag laying out at the 42 of Sacred Heart, that'll bring that one back.
Yeah, that was it was kind of very similar to that other play that Malin Jones would have scored on, where I think it was a little bit unnecessary even.
Yes.
Because I think, you get a guy that size and you got yourself, Nick Morrison, the way he can maneuver. Obviously, it shows he has great feet on that run, even though it's not going to count. But I think he would have had that man dead to right either way.
And if you're a JCA fan, well, why don't you come back on the Cube tonight at 6 o'clock, because we'll be out Montini and Canelan. Are we not up on top of the Oh, we're not. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought for sure we were going to be Montini at Canelan. But Canelan is way the heck out there. And I guess that we opted not for coverage on that ball game, but we have followed Montini. There's a big break and tackle there, and rambling all the way down inside the 45 and inside the 40 is Kevin Jensen, that reserve running back and linebacker, who gets almost another first down there, just shy by a couple of yards.
And that young man's a sophomore right now.
He's running like a senior.
Right, someone to look forward to maybe seeing him in that same role as Malin Jones along with Ty Isaac this year. You got Tyler Reed still, so that's something that you're going to see them, do, because Tyler Reed is only a junior, also, if I'm correct.
Yeah, there's plenty to be building on the future for 2012 for the gridiron for JCA as we wind down to the final minute of football here. Morrison under center, and he'll take a knee. We want to mention once more, Marichka's at Crest Hill is known for the world-famous poor boys. And why don't you stop over at Will County's landmark for good eating. Marichka's at 604 Theodore Street in the suburb of Joliet, Crest Hill. Reservations are accepted. They've been around since 1933. Owned and operated by the same family. Marichka's, 815-723-9371. Get a poor boy and enjoy it. It's world-class activity in the dietary kitchen at Marichka's. I'm Jimmy Dragon alongside Jason Lashiza and our fine cameraman braving the elements today, Andre Wright. We have got it done here today, as JCA has on highschoolcube.com. More importantly, for the Dan Sharp Legions of chocolate-covered, I should say chocolate-jerseyed. I almost can make them sound like Hershey Kisses there. They are going to Champaign in 2011. And if you are a fan, you got to be going down I-55 to 80, and further on down, you're going the wrong way if you go that way. Take 57, trust me. I'm excited. I'm excited for this football team, and Ed Zorn, who was our guest here from the class at 51. Ed, you got to be feeling it.
I feel great. They played wonderful. They didn't make any mistakes that I've seen. Seemed like every time they got the ball, they scored, and that's what it's all about. Touch the ball and score. And it's just actually what they done. They look terrific. Sometimes you look there.
Welcome back to Joliet Memorial Stadium and ATI Field. This is Jimmy Dragon alongside Jason Lashiza and Andre Wright. We're just giving you a recap of today's ball game. Both ball clubs here having their collective meetings on the turf right now. The final again, 49-7. A trip in the offing next Saturday to the 5A state championship ball game for the JCA Hilltoppers. Coach Dan Sharp had got them in fine their momentum. They did everything right this afternoon, played great defense, and of course the offensive juggernaut they had on the strength of the running attack of Ty Isaac and Malin Jones, combining for over 300 yards on the ground just between those two athletes, over 600 yards of total offense today for the Hilltoppers. Just way too much for Sacred Heart-Griffin and the Cyclones to be able to keep in track on a very, very windy and kind of unfriendly ball game in conditions without rain, thankfully, but the wind and the weather not the greatest for people to attend, as well as for ball players to have to make receptions in such a chilly environment. But good news for the Joliet Catholic faithful. They are heading back down to Champaign with a chance to win their 14th record state title, and that will occur in the 5A state championship ball game next. Believe that'll happen at 1 o'clock next Saturday. That's the second ball game. No, I should say back, that would be early. That would be probably 10 o'clock in the morning. 5A always preceding everything else, 6A, 7A, and 8A. The ball game tonight that you JCA fans will, of course, want to pay attention to is Montini Catholic is out on the road against the 12-0 undefeated Caneland High School. Montini 10-2. It should be an interesting contest. Of course, the winner will have a right to come down to Champaign next Saturday and do battle with this really, really in high gear JCA offensive juggernaut of Dan Sharp. Also, the 6A ball game today, we don't have a final on it, but I got to mention it. Coach Eric Michelson and Lamont High School, 12-0. We're playing down in Peoria Richwoods. We don't know what happened there, but hoping that Lamont will move on and will play Prairie Ridge. They were a winner over Batavia this afternoon at the 6A. We want to shake a bunch of shouts out today to all the people that made this broadcast happen. And there is more than people on the roadways that are in traffic right now to thank. But I do have to say thanks so much to the Dominican Sisters of Joliet Catholic Academy. They are the folks that really govern the school and make things happen, allowed us to be present this afternoon for this ball game. And it is a fine institution. Also, Dan Sharp, we want to thank him, the athletic director and fine coach here at JCA. And there they are. I found them. It's Catherine O'Connor and Sister Margaret Greuter both from the Dominican sisters, the president and principal, respectively, at Joliet Catholic Academy. Our hats are off to you, sisters, for all of the help and the support that you give to your athletic programs at JCA, and also, of course, for the academics that you foster and continue to produce with fine students and graduates at your school over on Larkin Avenue. Also, for all the fine folks at High School Cube that make this telecast possible as well. I mean, we're just the guys in the trenches here, but we want to get a shout out to the mothership in Austin, Texas, and thank Larry and Elizabeth Cotter, who really do wonders with everything that's done here on the internet, allowing us to do our signal and bounce it back to the rest of the world, if you will, because we know that there were members of JCA across America as well as across the globe that can tune in and hear this ball game today and enjoy the fact that they are alumni and that their ball club and their school is doing so well in football in 2011. Also, Jim McAteer, our fine production assistant, who is always out ahead of us with the lead and allows us to get ahead of what we're doing and do the best job we possibly can. I want to thank Ken Leonard and his fine coaching staff for all their support and help in giving us the information we needed to make the visitor side of the Sacred Heart-Griffin side of the broadcast possible as well.
And we don't want to forget, I know it wasn't on there, but
Micah?
Yes, Micah Nolte, once again, the Chief Technology Officer for High School Q, built all the technology that brought it possible, that powers HSC, and brings it to all the wonderful fans that have been out there and been able to check up and listen to these great teams here this year.
And also, we can't forget the Honda Superstar of Joliet, Semino's Pizza, and Marichka's. All our sponsors this afternoon, hats off to them as well to make this broadcast possible. Again, the final 49-7. JCA, the Hilltoppers, really living up to their name on the top of the hill at the 5A with one more little peak to climb over, and that will be the winner of the Montini-Canelan ball game taking place tonight at 6 o'clock in Canelan, Illinois. I'm Jimmy Dragna for Jason Lashiza, who has just been a breath of fresh air to work with, and of course Andre Wright, who is always dealing with the elements, and of course we've had all kinds of issues with some fans here today that could have been a little bit more intelligent, but we've managed to get through the hurdles that you've given us, and we thank you for the opportunity to give you this broadcast, and we want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. And of course my partner on my right from the class of 1951, my main man, Eddie Zorn. Eddie, say thanks.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
I enjoyed it. This is the best seat in the house. You can see actually what's going on, and it was nice and warm.
Well, we hope that we've provided all the folks at JCA the best seat in the house, too, and that's what we are High School Cube all about. We want to wish all of you, and of course from Joliet Memorial Stadium where we are, thank all the men and women of the armed forces who are keeping the lights lit across the globe for America. Thank you for coming along this afternoon and this evening. The good news once more, JCA moving on to the 5A final in Champaign next Saturday. I'm Jimmy Dragna for all the good folks at High School Cube. Have a pleasant evening, and better than that, have a great turkey dinner. Good night.